In the Pantanal, nature shows no mercy. In this land, every living creature has only two choices. Either use every ability its body possesses to adapt and survive, or become a source of energy for another predator. Welcome to the harshest arena in the wild. Pantanal, the battle for survival in South America's harshest land. If you love the wild, support the channel by following us and sharing your thoughts in the comments below. We'd also love to know which country you're watching from. The Pantanal is more than just a wetland spanning over 200,000 square kilometers. From an ecological perspective, it is like a brutal vortex of survival. Every year, the rainy season transforms the Pantanal into an inland sea up to 7 meters deep, supporting more than 4,700 forms of life. But when April arrives, the water begins to recede, and 80% of the available habitat gradually disappears. The food chain is compressed into the last remaining mud holes and water sources. Every failed chase burns precious calories. Both prey and predator must calculate every move, setting the stage for a ruthless survival crisis. And amid this fierce competition, Katu appears. Katu is a jaguar with a melanistic mutation that makes his coat appear almost completely black. In reality, a black panther is not a separate species. This distinctive coloration comes from melanism, which causes the body to produce large amounts of the pigment eumelanin. Viewed closely under angled light, the jaguar's characteristic rosette patterns can still be faintly seen against the black coat, like a genetic signature that can never be erased. Beside him is Gaia, a female jaguar with the familiar golden spotted coat. Jaguars are normally solitary predators, but during an intense mating period, with mating occurring up to 100 times a day, the male will stay close to the female as they hunt together and share territory. In the middle of the harsh, dry season, the presence of two apex predators creates an overwhelming advantage against even the most dangerous targets. Today, Katu and his mate are heading toward a dry channel in the west. It is a female green anaconda, 5.8 meters long and weighing more than 110 kilograms. She lies almost completely motionless. Under low oxygen conditions, the anaconda's heart rate and metabolic activity drop sharply to conserve energy. Her massive body blends into the murky water and deep mud, making her completely disappear from ordinary sight. Suddenly, the surface of the mud explodes. The giant anaconda bursts from her hiding place. Katu immediately launches an ambush, clamping his jaws with a bite force of more than 1,500 pounds per square inches onto the head and neck. Seconds later, Gaia charges in and pins down the rear of the anaconda's body. The hunt is over. Thanks to their superior strength and coordinated attack, Katu and Gaia successfully bring down their prey. They secure an extremely valuable source of food, further asserting their dominance during the brutal dry season of the Pantanal. As Katu and Gaia enjoy their prize, the central lowlands of the Pantanal enter the harshest stage of the dry season. The temperature reaches 43 degrees Celsius. More than 150 Yacare caimans are forced into a muddy basin covering less than 200 square meters. As ectothermic animals, they depend heavily on the environment to regulate their body temperature. They use their legs and tails to dig about 60 centimeters into the damp mud. Inside their bodies, metabolic activity and heart rate also decrease. They limit every unnecessary movement to conserve energy. But as the mud grows thicker, cool hollows become increasingly scarce. The Yacare caimans begin pushing against one another, and weaker individuals are forced toward the edges, where temperatures are higher. Right along the water's edge, a herd of capybaras faces a different problem: hunger. Fresh grass has almost disappeared. Their large cecum works like a fermentation chamber, where bacteria break down tough, hard-to-digest fiber. Capybaras also re-ingest their nutrient-rich soft feces, allowing them to extract more from their food a second time. In the Pantanal now, even a single blade of dry grass has become precious. Among the capybaras, a family of jabiru storks slowly walks through the shallow water. Standing about 1.5 meters tall, with a wingspan that can exceed 2.5 meters, the jabiru is one of the most striking birds of the wetlands. Its bare neck helps the body exchange heat with the environment. Meanwhile, the receding water concentrates fish into small pools. The parents take advantage of this opportunity to find food for their chicks in the nest. Not far away is the marsh deer, the largest deer species in South America. An adult can weigh more than 100 kilograms. Its long legs lift its body above the shallow water, while its widely splayed hooves help distribute its weight across soft ground. This is a body built for the wetlands. But the dry season is taking that very environment away. Aquatic vegetation is gradually disappearing, the mud is hardening, and the last remaining water sources are becoming smaller and smaller. The Pantanal still maintains its familiar rhythm, but the dry season is tightening its grip on this land with each passing day. This is already the 12th week of the dry season. The water continues to recede from the remaining channels. In just 1 or 2 more weeks, many species will enter the most dangerous stage of the drought. At a northern stretch of the channel, one of the few remaining water sources belongs to a family of 9 giant otters. Giant otters live in family groups. They hunt fish together, defend their territory, and protect their young. Each adult can eat 3-4 kilograms of fish a day, equivalent to 10-15% of its body weight. And the way they declare ownership is very distinctive. Along the bank, the entire group uses communal latrines. They scrape the ground clean, leave feces and secretions, then rub them into the mud. The accumulated scent becomes an invisible sign, warning other otter groups that this stretch of river is already claimed. Each member also carries its own unique mark. Beneath the throat is a patch of white fur with a pattern unlike any other, much like a human fingerprint. But the bonds within the family stand in sharp contrast to how they treat competing groups. Territorial disputes can become extremely violent, and even the young of rival groups can become targets for elimination. In the distance, an old male Yacare caiman, measuring 3.2 meters long, has left the muddy basin and entered the otter's territory. Beneath the murky water, it silently approaches 2 young otters practicing their dives. Without warning, the Yacare suddenly bursts from the water, heading straight for one of the young otters. An alarm call rings out. The entire family repeatedly closes in from multiple directions to protect the young. Surrounded, the caiman is forced to abandon the hunt, turn away, and dive back into deeper water. In the Pantanal, strength does not always come down to size. For giant otters, family is their most powerful weapon. By late afternoon, the Pantanal begins to cool. As the sunlight fades, species that have avoided the daytime heat begin to emerge. Beneath the bushes, a giant anteater slowly steps into view. On its back is a young one. During the first months of life, the young anteater's markings blend with its mother's coat, making their two bodies appear almost as one. Her sense of smell leads her to an ant nest. Front claws, nearly 10 centimeters long, quickly break through the hardened soil. Her long, sticky tongue repeatedly reaches deep inside. To consume tens of thousands of ants and termites each day, she does not exploit any single nest for too long. Feeding quickly and constantly moving allows the animal to find multiple food sources without using too much energy. Nearby, a herd of white-lipped peccaries is rooting for plant roots. A scent gland on their backs helps maintain bonds between group members. When the herd becomes alert, the clicking sound of their canine teeth echoes through the bushes. As darkness falls, another world begins to stir in the treetops. A Brazilian porcupine slowly moves among the branches. Its prehensile tail works almost like a fifth limb, while its feet and curved claws keep its body firmly secured to the tree. It spends most of its time searching for young leaves, shoots, fruit, and bark. The thick layer of quills covering its back allows the animal to forage relatively calmly in the darkness. Not far away, a tamandua is also patrolling decaying tree trunks. Its long snout and tongue, measuring about 40 centimeters, easily reach into narrow crevices in search of ants and termites. Powerful front claws help it open insect nests, while its prehensile tail supports its body as it climbs along high branches. It checks each nest briefly before moving on. In the Western Highlands, Luna, a mother puma weighing about 55 kilograms, leaves her hiding place. Her two 4-month-old cubs remain behind. Luna usually travels through higher, drier areas where the chances of encountering jaguars are lower. After several hours of searching, Luna catches an agouti. She does not eat it immediately. Carefully scanning her surroundings, Luna grips the prey firmly in her mouth and quickly carries it back toward the place where her two cubs are waiting. With two hungry cubs, this food source is far too valuable. Luna brings the agouti back and lets them share the meal. In the middle of the Pantanal dry season, not every meal comes from a major hunt. Sometimes, survival is simply about getting the prey back to your young at the right time. Then the first rains of the season return. The first heavy raindrops fall onto the cracked ground at midday. Dust rises from the earth, releasing the compound geosmin into the air, which local people call the smell of life. The rising water transforms the entire ecological landscape. Flocks of hyacinth macaws begin filling the sky. Their powerful beaks easily crack open the hard shells of Yacare palm fruits to reach the rich, oily kernels inside. As the breeding season begins, towering manduvi trees become the center of fierce competition. Natural tree cavities that are large and safe enough are an extremely scarce resource. Hyacinth macaws are not the only ones competing. Red and green macaws, along with toko toucans, also arrive in search of nesting sites. Fierce aerial battles erupt around the manduvi trees, where only the winners can claim the perfect nest to raise the next generation. Beneath the surface, life also begins to move again. Schools of Dourado, one of the iconic fish species of the Pantanal basin, once again move through the newly reconnected waterways. Their streamlined bodies and powerful tails help them push through the currents in search of food and reach their breeding grounds. The water continues to spread. Waterways gradually reconnect, vegetation turns green again, and the Pantanal enters a new cycle. The dry season tests life. The rainy season brings the chance for renewal. But the Pantanal's ability to recover is not unlimited. From 1985 to 2021, the area covered by wetlands declined by about 30%. Even so, there are still positive signs. Many areas of the Pantanal are being protected through conservation areas, private ranches and ecological corridors. Protecting old manduvi trees also helps preserve nesting sites for hyacinth macaws. Nest monitoring programs, protection of young birds, and cooperation with landowners have helped the macaw population recover after years of decline. Following major fire seasons, conservation efforts have also focused more heavily on fire prevention, early detection, and restoring damaged habitats. Scientists continue to monitor jaguars, giant otters, and many other species to identify critical areas that need to be preserved. The Pantanal remains under pressure, but the return of wildlife to protected areas shows one thing. When nature is given enough water, enough space, and enough time, it still has a powerful ability to recover. Each returning rainy season does more than begin a new cycle. It also reminds us that the future of the Pantanal can still change. And as long as the waters continue to return, macaws still fly across the sky and jaguars still walk through the wetlands, the story of the Pantanal is not over. Can you believe that there are lions that hunt in deep wetlands? Can you believe that a pride of lions can bring down an elephant, the largest land animal on Earth? All of this is happening in Okavango and Savuti. Join us as we journey into one of Africa's most spectacular wilderness regions, where every day is a struggle between life and death. Land of the survivors. Each year, something extraordinary happens in the heart of southern Africa. Rain falls across the highlands of Angola, hundreds of kilometers away. From there, the water begins a long journey southward. But instead of reaching the ocean, it disappears into the heart of the Kalahari Desert. Before it vanishes into the air, it creates an entirely different world. That world is the Okavango Delta. Amid a sea of dry sand, thousands of waterways weave through lush green grasslands. This becomes a gathering place for life. Herds of antelope arrive, buffalo follow, and behind them come the predators. But Okavango is unlike anywhere else in Africa. Here, water is almost everywhere. For most big cats, water is an obstacle. But for the lions of Okavango, water has become a part of their lives. Through the early morning mist, a pride of lions silently moves across a shallow wetland. Generations spent living in this flooded environment have left their mark on these animals. Compared to populations living on dry grasslands, Okavango lions often possess more powerful forequarters, helping them move more steadily and hunt more effectively through mud and wetlands. But this adaptation is not only physical. To travel between grassy islands separated by channels, they regularly swim through deep water and constantly shift their range with the seasonal floods. Water does not hinder them. Instead, it has become part of their hunting strategy. These lions often use the wetland terrain to drive prey into areas where movement becomes far more difficult. Nowhere is this more evident than in the Duba Plains. Duba is home to one of Africa's most famous lion prides. While many lion prides focus on antelope or zebra, the lions here often target a far more dangerous opponent. Buffalo. An adult bull can weigh nearly a ton. On top of its head sits a solid mass of horn and bone, forming a natural shield. Even lions rarely choose to confront them head-on. This morning, a herd of buffalo is feeding in the wetlands. They do not charge immediately. The adult lionesses quietly spread out, keeping their distance and gradually tightening the space around the herd. It is a strategy refined through generations of cooperative hunting. The target is not the entire herd. Just one individual weaker than the rest. Eventually, the balance begins to shift in favor of the predators. This is not simply a victory of strength, it is a victory of adaptation. As the tension of the hunt fades, the atmosphere within the pride begins to change as well. The adult lions settle down beside their hard-earned prize, while the younger members slowly emerge. They climb onto their mothers' backs, chase one another across the flooded grasslands, and curiously explore everything around them. For the cubs, this is not just mealtime, it is also their first lesson in survival. They watch how the lionesses coordinate their hunt, how the pride shares its meal, and how the adult warriors defend their territory. In Okavango, survival skills are not taught through words. They are passed down through every hunt, every flood season, and through generation after generation. Water has changed everything. It has transformed the landscape, altered the prey species, and over time has helped shape one of the most remarkable lion populations on the planet. The warriors of the wetlands, the kings that learned to turn water into their ally. Far out in the deep channels of the delta, another giant is quietly doing exactly that every day. The hippopotamus. As the sun climbs higher, most of its massive body remains submerged beneath the water. Only its eyes, ears, and nostrils rise above the still surface. This is how an animal weighing more than 3 tons escapes the harsh African heat. A hippopotamus's thick skin loses moisture easily under the intense sun. To protect itself, it secretes a reddish-orange fluid that acts as a natural sunscreen while also helping to limit bacterial growth on the skin. But the hippopotamus's most important role only begins after nightfall. Each night, they leave the water to feed, repeatedly trampling the reed beds along the shoreline. Over time, these paths gradually widen into natural corridors running through the wetlands. When the floodwaters arrive, water flows into the trails created by the hippos, transforming them into new channels. As a result, water can spread farther across the landscape, bringing life to otherwise dry areas. In a way, hippos are the ecological engineers of the Okavango. Interestingly, these accidental constructions also benefit lions. The natural pathways allow them to move more easily between hunting grounds instead of struggling through dense reed beds or deep water. In Okavango, The lives of different species are connected in ways that are often unexpected. But sometimes, the greatest threat does not come from the horns of buffalo or the strength of a hippopotamus. It comes from something the naked eye cannot see. Hidden deep within the ancient soils of the Kalahari are anthrax spores, capable of surviving for many years. When conditions become favorable, they awaken and spread throughout the ecosystem. A healthy hippopotamus today can become a source of disease transmission in a remarkably short time. As the body decomposes, millions of spores are released into the surrounding water and soil, creating an invisible threat to every creature living in the wetlands. It is a reminder that in Okavango, life must contend with more than visible predators. Sometimes, the most dangerous threats come from things that cannot be seen at all. And beneath the deep channels carved by hippos, another ancient force still waits in silence. A predator that existed long before the Okavango Delta itself was formed. The Nile crocodile. In the murky water, it is almost invisible. Only its eyes and nostrils rise above the surface just enough to observe the world around it without revealing its presence. Over millions of years of evolution, the crocodile's form has changed very little. That is the mark of a design that is nearly perfect. Its long, low, and powerful body allows it to move effortlessly through the water. Its muscular tail generates tremendous propulsion, while its eyes and nostrils, positioned on top of the head, allow it to watch its prey while keeping most of its body completely concealed. But the crocodile's most terrifying weapon is not its teeth. It is its ability to sense. Along its jaws are thousands of highly sensitive sensory organs capable of detecting the slightest vibrations on the water's surface. Their sensitivity even surpasses that of human fingertips, allowing the crocodile to detect prey even when it cannot see them. That makes every stretch of river in Okavango a potential trap. Toward the end of the dry season, as water sources begin to shrink, more and more animals are forced to visit the remaining channels to drink. A herd of wildebeest is approaching the riverbank. They appear cautious. The adults constantly raise their heads to scan the surroundings, while the younger animals crowd closely behind them. but the water remains perfectly still. When one wildebeest lowers its head to drink, the distance finally becomes close enough. The water explodes. The entire herd panics and flees. But for the victim, everything is already over. Yet behind the image of a fearsome predator lies another role that few would expect, the role of a seed disperser. Many fruit-bearing trees grow along the banks of the Okavango waterways. When ripe fruits fall into the water, crocodiles sometimes swallow them along with their food. Remarkably, some of the seeds can survive passage through the digestive system and are later dispersed to new areas. In a way, this ancient predator is also helping to sow the seeds of life throughout the Okavango. But in Okavango, every species must adapt in order to survive. And no animal demonstrates that more clearly than the remarkable resident of its flooded wetlands. The red lechwe. At first glance, its body appears somewhat unbalanced. Its hind legs are longer than its front legs, causing its hips to sit higher than its shoulders. But this unusual structure is precisely what allows the lechwe to move efficiently through wetland environments. Its hovs are also designed for a life among water and mud. Long and capable of spreading wide on soft ground, they help distribute body weight and prevent the animal from sinking too deeply. These advantages become especially important when danger appears. When pursued, the lechwe uses a unique style of movement that resembles bounding through waves. By launching itself repeatedly from the water's surface, it significantly reduces environmental resistance and maintains speeds that many predators struggle to match. As a result, the wetlands, which are an obstacle for many species, become a protective shield for them. Today, Okavango is home to the largest population of red lechwe in the world. Their existence is a vivid example of how evolution can transform a harsh environment into a survival advantage. About 125 miles east of Okavango lies Savuti, a land known by local people as the mysterious Ghost River. The Savuti Channel can flow strongly for years and then suddenly disappear completely. When the water retreats, the lush green plains quickly give way to red dust, cracked earth, and increasingly scarce water sources. It is within this harsh environment that a remarkable lion population has emerged. Unlike the Duba lions that specialize in hunting buffalo, the lions of Savuti target the largest land animal on Earth, the elephant. It is an extraordinarily risky choice. An adult elephant weighs several tons and possesses enough power to make most predators keep their distance. To face such a challenge, Savuti lion prides form massive super prides that can number dozens of individuals. This cooperation allows them to carry out hunts that very few other lion populations are capable of attempting. As darkness falls, the lions begin to move. They use their superior night vision to approach elephant herds gathering at the last remaining waterholes of the dry season. The targets are usually young individuals or elephants that have become separated from the herd. Rather than rushing into an attack, the pride works together to isolate its prey before committing its full strength at the decisive moment. These are hunts that demand patience, coordination, and extraordinary endurance. At Savuti, the harshness of the environment has created one of the most spectacular examples of adaptation in lions. Here, even prey that seem nearly invincible can become targets for warriors forged by the land of the Ghost River. From the Duba lions hunting buffalo in the wetlands, to the ancient crocodiles lurking beneath deep channels, to the more than 60,000 red leshwe inhabiting the flooded floodplains, every creature in Okavango is part of a natural system shaped by millions of years of evolution. Each year this delta sustains hundreds of thousands of large animals, hundreds of bird species, and countless other creatures that depend on the precious waters flowing from the north. Meanwhile, in Savuti, the elephant hunting lion prides continue to write one of the most extraordinary survival stories ever documented in the animal kingdom. Ecologist Herbert Prins once observed, "No organism exists in isolation in the Okavango. Every species is a link in a larger web of life. It is this interconnectedness that gives the region its unique strength and beauty." Dr. Kay Holekamp, one of the world's leading experts on African carnivores, has also argued that the behavioral adaptability of Savuti's lions demonstrates how nature continually find solutions to even the harshest challenges. But today, that delicate network faces pressures unlike any it has encountered before. Climate change, alterations to natural water flows, and human activity are directly affecting one of the planet's most important ecosystems. Perhaps what makes Okavango and Savuti truly remarkable is not only their spectacular hunts or their legendary predators. It is the reminder that life always finds a way to adapt. From a river that disappears into the desert, to lions that learn to master the water, to antelope that turned the wetlands into their own fortress of survival. If you enjoy these incredible stories from the natural world, be sure to subscribe to the channel and join us on future journeys. Every follow helps spread a love for nature and raises awareness about the importance of protecting precious places like Okavango and Savuti. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again on the next adventure where nature is still writing its greatest stories.